Now we're also joined by Mark Schlereth, three-time Super Bowl champion, and you see him all over the place. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us. Really appreciate it, man.
It's my pleasure. Great to be with you guys. Yeah. Always fun.
What's just when I say, what do you think's going to happen Sunday? What's the first thing comes to your mind about who's going to win this game and why?
Well, first off, you got to understand where I'm biased.
Okay.
I'm rooting for San Francisco. I've known Kyle since he was 12 years old. Wow. I've known Christian since he was 2 years old. I played with Eddie McCaffrey. Mike Shanahan is a mentor and a dear friend. Mike's like going to dinner with your dad, like Mike for me is like I pulled money out the last time. We go to dinner a couple times. He's got his own, he's got the Shanahan's restaurant, and we go a couple times a year, at least 2 or 3 times a year. We get together and go to dinner, and I pull my money out, and it's like he backhands me across the cheekbone.
Like, son, wow.
Like your money's no good here. So,
that's awesome.
So, I've just been around. Kyle Shanahan used to be at our facility. Like Kyle Shanahan in our OTAs was running routes with the receivers when he's in high school. Eddie McCaffrey and Rod Smith was coaching him up.
Right.
And so, the one thing probably, I don't even know if you guys know this, the last guy to hold the coach's cord in the Super Bowl was Kyle Shanahan.
Wow.
Because the year after we won Super Bowl 33, they went to wireless. So he's the last person to ever hold a cord in the Super Bowl.
That's for his dad?
And now he's
for
Mike. Yeah.
Right.
And now now he's coaching in another Super Bowl. So it's just crazy how all that stuff went. So if I told you, I'm a huge Niner fan because of them, obviously, but I'm a huge the way they play. And the crazy thing to me is, you look at the way they played the last 2 games, it's probably been the worst 2 games they've played. I think their defensive line have gotten their ass kicked. I thought their front 7 has been bad. And I think offensively, they've gotten away from what they do. Like if you talk to Kyle, and he would tell you straight up, we're not a good static running routes football team. I would probably argue that Christian McCaffrey might be your best route runner. He and Ayuk, he'd tell you Debo's not the greatest of route runners. Maybe Kittle's not the greatest of route runners. That's not what they do. So they are predicated on, they've got the best run game in football. And when I sit there, because, I have so many relationships in the game, when I sit there and talk to,
See, this guy beat me up. You have to tell him why you laughing.
No, you need me to get your light work out.
You got to tell him why you laughing.
Nervous, yeah.
You don't know about this. You're like, what the hell's going on right now?
You jump into this screen so people know. Chuck Lidell joining us. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Nice to meet you. Yeah, I don't mess around with guys like that.
No.
See, you got to realize, we both are wrestlers. I wrestled in college. Chuck wrestled in college. I'm going to tell this guy, you need to get in the UFC before it started.
Man.
I'm told him.
Okay. Tell me how.
This is no lie. This is my guy. He talks about me in his book. Dude, we got some stories. But, give us 5 minutes because we got to get.
No, I got to tell you, here's my standard rule, because I was a high school wrestler as well. So I was a high school wrestler as well. And this is my standard rule. When you see a dude with cauliflower ears, you do not mess with that dude. You buy him a drink and you say, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry that I offended you. Can I get you a drink? That's what you say to those guys with cauliflower ears.
Chuck Lidell joining us along with Mark Schlereth and Lorenzo Neal. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Can you guys turn him, man?
Turn him up.
This guy, I have never go to the Pro Bowl. This guy's trying to get me in a fight. I'm on a lot like we land. He's like, I set up a fight. It was Pepper Johnson and somebody else. You had set up.
From the Giants?
$25,000 a piece. We're fighting. We're fighting on the beach.
Yeah, like, really what do you mean? Getting in the UFC? Is that true story?
That's a true story.
1,000%. True friend.
Before when I was bartending in Slow.
Come on.
Yeah, he was bartending at
a restaurant. I know you can fight. That you're going to be in the UFC.
Dude, I told him that yesterday. I said, Lowe was a great wrestler. He would have been.
That's all American, but I knew that Chuck had hands. So you guys, back in the day, we would always fight college. Back in the day, you could get away with all this. So I was like, dude, bro, I'm going to the NFL. You need to think about doing this UFC before it gets going. And I was like, dude, you will be a killer. I mean, he's got a one-handed quitter. If he hits you, it's lights out. I mean, he hits his hands brick. He goes in, dude. I was always ringside. I'm like, Chuck, I need triple tickets. I'm ringside of him and Randy's fight. I'm there. This is my guy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man, he came out. before I fought Tito, he was a little worried. He was nervous about wrestling and stuff. This asshole comes out. Sorry. He comes out and he wants to spar with me for 3 rounds. So he let me put big gloves on, and he's trying to take me down for 3 rounds.
Man.
But he let me punch him in the head for 3 rounds. Okay, you're good. We're good.
That's what this is a true story. I go over to Slow where he's at the pit where he's training. I'm in football, so I'm like, okay. I'm like, dude, I'm worried about this. Let me see what you got. You know, I can mix it. Dude, I was like, so I got in there, and after like a round or two, I was like, Chuck, you all right? You got this. I was like, let me go back in retirement.
I can see why you were good. Why you were a good wrestler, because your legs are like Dorf on golf. Like nobody can leg ride you. Nobody can go.
They can't throw the legs in. No one can ride it.
No, you can't.
You know about that, huh? Every time you throw the legs, I'm catching right there, baby. You're in trouble.
I didn't realize you had such short legs, man.
I'm a Shetland pony.
That's what he said when he runs.
Man, Matt Steinmetz, Darren Guru Johnson, Lorenzo Neal, Mark Schlereth, Chuck Liddell. Hey, what's the latest on your podcast?
Oh, podcast.
Stinking Truth.
Podcast going well. I mean, everything.
Who'd you have on? Like, who's your last guest?
I don't get guests on. If you're not as entertaining as me, why the hell would I have you on my podcast? Like, I don't want to.
Smart. No,
so let me tell you,
Williams for you. Yeah, getting Cat on the podcast.
I'll tell you the greatest. I'm going to tell you the greatest. I got to play in 3 of these games, right? 3 of these Super Bowls, and so I'm going to give you guys the greatest. Like, one of the things you have to be able to do is you have to be able to keep it light, right? You have to have that. So I'm playing in Super Bowl 33. Yep. So we're in the Miami Dolphins facility. And so we're hanging out, we're doing our thing in there, and they got the hot tub and the cold tub, and I'm doing contrast bath, right? And so then I'm sitting in the hot tub, I'm butt naked, and this trainer from the Miami Dolphins comes by, and I said, hey, man, go get Greek. He was our head trainer for the Broncos. I go, something's wrong. So he goes and gets Steve Antonopoulos, Greek, and all the Miami Dolphin trainers come in there. All the Broncos trainers come in there, and I'm standing on the top step. I got my ankles in ankle-deep water, and I'm leaning over the rail, the silver rail. And Greek comes in and goes, what's up? And I go, dude, something's wrong. Man, I don't feel good. Something's terrible. He said, what's going on? I go, I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm going to throw up. He goes, I can't see, man. My eyes just went. And he goes, hey, calm down. Let me help you out. And I go, no, don't touch me. Don't. And I turned around and go, do me a favor. Go check my temperature. And I had that 12-inch thermometer jammed up my ass. and I fell in the hot tub. I was laughing so hard. And they're like, you son of a, And so anyhow, 2 years ago, I'm in the Super Bowl. 3 years ago, I'm doing Super Bowl in Miami again. And I'm doing Radio Row just like this. And some dude walks up to me. I didn't recognize him. And he looked at me. We're in a break and goes, thermometer guy. So anyhow, he was a trainer at Miami at the time. Yeah. So you got to keep things light, right?
Man, isn't that the rest, though? That's what people don't understand. Football, rest, all this, we have such a community, and just the stories that we can tell in the locker rooms and stuff that you have, it's just like unprecedented. You're talking about the Shanahan family. What makes them be able, their coaching ability, what makes them unique in your opinion?
What makes them so good is they will tell you, like when they come together and they game plan, we sit there and they say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's why we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's how it's going to benefit you, and you. And so he may come out and say, hey, man, we're going to run this play. Let's call it 19 handoff force. We're going to run 19 handoff force. We're going to run it 6 times in this game. This play ain't worth a crap. We're going to get 2 yards of carry because of the way they play their defense. But it's going to set up the play action that we want to run off this thing. And they'll say, like, you, Kittle, you're going to get a 20-yard explosive. Juszczyk, you're going to get a 20-yard explosive. Debo, you're going to get a 20-yard explosive. And we're going to score twice on this thing.
Wow.
And then, sure enough, it comes to fruition. Like, I'm playing for Mike in Super Bowl 32, Mike Shanahan, and we're playing the Green Bay Packers, and we're 13-point underdogs. And they're kicking everybody's ass. And
but where was that at?
This was in San Diego.
Yeah, I know. I worked it.
And then
I worked in security.
Did you?
He really was.
I worked security for that one.
Yeah, but that's awesome. He's pretty secure.
That's what I love. He
was. Kick anybody's ass, or do you have to kick somebody's ass?
No, I was a front row at 50-yard line, front row. No one's panicking.
Right.
I'm like, watch. You got to watch the guys. I'm like, what for? What? Right. What are they gonna do?
So Lo, you'll appreciate this. So Mike brings us together and says, okay, here's what we're going to run. We're going to get into strong right slot.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to get in a slot formation. Yep. Every time we get in a slot formation, their outside linebacker that played the weak side linebacker was Brian Williams. Brian Williams would get in a 2x2 hip, so he'd start creeping out, and here come Leroy Butler. Yeah. And so every time you get in this formation, that's what would happen.
Right.
And ultimately, you'd watch Leroy Butler come down, and he would be running. Anytime you run strong, he'd be in the backfield.
Down in the field.
Yeah, and he'd cut back, and he'd be making tackles in the backfield, one after the other. And you see these guards scoop blocking out to the will linebacker who's really just trying to cover any slants.
Sure.
And so Mike goes, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna exchange that. We're gonna let the will linebacker go. Eddie McCaffrey, you're in the slot. You take him, and Stink, you will scoop up and you'll grab Leroy Butler.
Kick him out.
And I'm like, all right. So we get in second play of the game. Second play, here he comes. We get into strong right slot, and there's Brian Williams starting to creep out. Here comes Leroy Butler down. Got him in the freaking chin. Right?
Yeah.
And TD cuts back behind us, got 15-yard gain. And I turned to Gary Zimmer. I go, we're going to gut these
It's on.
And it's on. And we ended up beating them 13-point underdogs. We beat them 31-24. TD missed a quarter with a migraine.
No, I know.
And still had 158 yards rushing.
You guys absolutely murdered them.
13-point underdog.
Yes.
95.7 The Game. I'm Matt Steinmetz. It's Daryl the Guru Johnson. We got Lorenzo Neal. We got Mark Schlereth. We got Chuck Liddell. How come he didn't play football in college? I see you played 4 years in high school.
I played 1 year in college. I played Cal Poly. Okay. It was a decision between wrestling and they wanted me to put weight on for football, cut weight for wrestling. I decided to wrestle.
I think it worked out.
It worked out for me. I made a good choice. Good choice.
What?
Dude, I had scholarships to wrestle. I was like, you can can that crap.
Thank you.
Man. I'm not just that is.
It's crazy, right?
100%. That's the hardest sport I've ever been involved in, without question. It's not even close. Yeah. And I tell you what,
I'm with you.
It's truly what it made me. It made me a much better. It made me a much tougher football player, but it made me a much better leverage player. There's just no question.
Yeah,
hands and everything else.
That's how I started wrestling. My football coach said, if you're not playing basketball, you're wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't play basketball.
Right.
I love
so
it.
how did you guys know each other? Because you're from San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
So where'd you guys get to know? Like you said, he's in your book. You wrote about him in your book. Well, how do you guys know each other?
College. You just it's a wrestling community.
Oh, okay.
The wrestlers know everyone from everywhere.
I used to train with a guy went to high school with him and just.
Got you,
man.
Yeah, And Chuck's got to tell you guys a story about when the bar that he worked out, and he was a bouncer.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, you got to come out and party with me. You got to let him know that story. That's a pretty story. He'll like that story too.
No, we were sitting there. I was behind the bar. He comes in. Hey, where's Chuck? I was a kickboxer at the time. I wasn't fighting the UFC yet, but everyone knew me as a kickboxer. I'm like
all the crowd.
So we just started going at it from across the bar. I'm gonna go fight him. So I jump over the bar.
Everyone clears out. Everyone moves out the side.
My girlfriend's behind the bar. She's freaking out. I'm gonna go fight this guy. They haven't seen him. I'm come on, we go. We start hugging, start wrestling, and go around. It was funny. Everyone's like, oh man, I'm taking the rest of the night off. We're gonna go drink together.
Dude, I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. And my high school was like 3,500 kids.
Wow.
That big? Oh, yeah. There was only 6 high schools in Alaska at the time, so that everybody had like 3,000 kids or whatever. Wow. So my high school wrestling team, we had 150 kids come out for wrestling. And so, we had a huge wrestling team. And we used to get these dudes, like guys that were collegiate wrestling. You could never do this in high school now. And so you'd walk into that wrestling room. We had this long, thin wrestling room. And you'd get a bunch of dudes wrestled at Iowa. Like they were pissed off because they just, we boycotted the 80 Olympics and they didn't make, So you'd walk into the wrestling room and you have these 36-year-old men that just want to beat the crap out of you. And they're like, and it's singlets, balls hanging out. They're like, let's roll.
Yeah, you're in high school. That's crazy.
Oh, dude, I'm kidding you not. We'd have 3 or 4 grown-ass men.
Oh, boy.
Are you kidding?
You're going to love this, but this is my genealogy. So my father, we call him poolside. My father's 84 years old and is just ripped. Like, my father can still bench 225. Like
right now.
Yeah. My father's an absolute freak show. So he's never wrestled a day in his life. So we had this. I was a freshman, and he comes. They had to bring your parent to wrestling day type of thing.
Right.
So my dad comes in. And this one, there was no limit on heavyweight, right?
Right. Unlimited. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So we had a heavyweight. I was a freshman. We had a heavyweight named Roy Willis. He was 6'5", 340 pounds.
Oh.
So my dad has never wrestled a day in his life. He grew up in New York City, right? And he walks up, and he's 6 foot, and he's about 185 pounds ripped, strong as an ox. And my dad goes, I'm going to challenge him. I'm going to challenge the heavyweight to a wrestle. And I go, Dad, you've never wrestled in your whole life. He goes, no, I got him. And so he walks up, taps on his shoulder, and goes, let's go. And Roy Willis is like, I don't know. And he goes, no, let's go. And I'm like, and so he goes, all right.
Pop,
so he grabs my dad, just freaking suplexes him, lands on his ribs, and breaks my dad's ribs. And so he pins him. My dad gets up, he walks over to me, he goes, I'm going to go to the hospital.
No, that's good. Dude, that's a great story. Are you?
This is my.
Pops wanted to smoke.
Your dad. So your dad said, and you said, Dad, don't do this. You said, Dad, don't do this.
No,
this is
why.
Is that not a great story?
Can I tell you what? That is why I was able to go through 29 different surgeries while I was playing, because I was just as dumb as my dad.
Man.
But this is my father right before he turned 80. That's my dad. About a month
Come on,
dude, he's like that dude in the
look at his dad
on social media.
About 2 months before he turned 80.
Come on, Mark.
That's crazy.
With Chuck Lidell. I'm sitting with Mark Schlereth. I'm sitting with Lorenzo Neal and Darryl LaGrooge. Chuck, I feel like I'm ignoring him.
No, I'm getting ready to.
I got to ask him. I got to ask him a question.
Chuck's great.
I'm having fun.
Yeah,
Dude, what's
this is great, Steak.
Yeah.
I know Anchorage is a little different, but dude, how do you live in the dark in the winter? 20 hours a day.
How do you think I started having kids at 19?
I'm watching true crime right now.
That old milk stick. He put that milk stick in work early, boy.
So,
19. He's working
on Christmas Day in Anchorage, December 25th, it's light for like 5 hours.
Tops.
What the?
Tops.
Like,
dude, when you grow up,
how do you know what time it is?
You don't know any different.
That's all he knows.
I had a clock. They have clocks in Anchorage.
So it gets dark at like noon?
Dude, like you walk to school, it's pitch-ass blackout. You get home off the bus, it's pitch-ass blackout.
That's crazy.
Yeah, though. Oh yeah. But the summer times, the 3 months or 2 months that the summer is, it's awesome.
Well, you can play 3 rounds of golf in a day then if you want, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, it was a great place to grow. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's a great place to grow.
Did you go back at all?
Oh yeah.
The fishing is great. I imagine you're an outdoor guy fishing.
Not really. No.
He's like, no, not really, Lo. No,
I'm not. But yeah, we used to go. My dad's still up there. He's probably on the roof right now shoving. They've had over 100 inches of snow, so he's on the roof.
Yeah,
so I always am like, Dad, hey,
probably
man.
In the dark, he's on that roof.
No, I'm like, Dad, you got to stay off the roof. And he goes, no, I tied myself. I put a rope around my neck and tied it on the chimney, so if I fall, I'll be protected.
Hey, Chuck, I want to ask Chuck, when you're kind of simulate fighting to a game. Mark was talking about, how Coach Shanahan would say, we're going to run this play, and it's only going to get 2 yards. It's only going to get 2 yards. But, then we're going to switch this up, and we're going to pick up 20. And now we're going to pick up 30 because we set this up, even though we know it's not going to work. When you're in a fight and you're fighting a guy, is there something you might do? Is it feint?
It's similar to that. Like I look at game film. I look at fight film. I watch guys get ready. So I'm prepared. And I see how they react on certain things with other people. So there's certain things I put in the game plan to catch
counter.
Right. But everybody reacts to other people. A different person different. They're not going to react to me the same way they react to you.
Right.
So I go out and I'll try a few things. I have a few things already set up. I'm going to see how he reacts to this because I want to know what he's going to do. If I know if he does that same thing he was doing before, okay, now I can throw that up. Now I can catch him with it. It's just it's a game. It's a game for me of trying to figure out how to set a guy up and how to land that punch.
Let me ask you about fear. because I threw up in a trash can before every game I ever played.
Really?
And I was like scared to death. Not getting. I mean, we've all had our ass kicked,
Sure,
so that's
absolutely.
not. But like of letting my teammates down, I didn't want to be the guy that screwed things up. So what about for you going into a fight? Like, is it fear? Is it what like?
I never really had that. I always had. I have a thing with it's like a test taking I was really good at because I would relax as soon as I open the test. I once I've done all my training, I get ready for a fight. I'm all prepared. I don't worry about it anymore. I just go out and have fun. I go out and play.
Mm-hmm.
I go out and fight. Because for me that worrying about it's not going to do me any good. So why do it? I mean, why let it bother me? I'm not worried about getting hurt. I've been punched in the face before. I've been knocked out before. I've been hurt before. It's not a big deal.
I've never been punched in the face.
Have
you ever been punched in the face?
Yeah, I have.
No, I would have noticed.
Lo, have you ever been punched in the face?
Hell yeah.
You guys are tougher than me.
I would walk and here's the deal. I know he's not lying. I would walk to a room before a big fight. I said, what you think? I got this. Dude, we're going to meet at the bar after this. We would talk about where we're going to go party afterwards. Lo, we're going to go get crazy? Yeah, but dude, he's built for this. And he would walk out there and get Tito like, Lo, I'm gonna knock this guy out. When he's in his
I remember Dwayne said to me, he's like, it was crazy because I was walking out to fight Randy for a second time. And what's his name was on a stretcher. And he was worried. And I see Dwayne was really worried about how he was doing. I go, hey, man, he's going to be okay. We'll walk out for him. He's going to be all right. Let's go. Good.
Chuck, real quick, inventory. Have you walked back to the corner like, damn, that hurt. I'm in pain. Or you just got a mechanism to block it out?
Not really.
Like,
for me, I always like when I get, if something hurts or if something hits me and it really hurts, I kind of, does this hurt? Do I need to protect it? Am I injured? Or does it just hurt? Because my head goes real quick. Like, oh, it just hurts. Don't worry about it. I'll worry about that later.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. Man, what a great segment. Mark Schlereth.
You know what I just realized right now?
Give it to me.
I'm just way too pretty to be in the MMA. I'm just I'm way too pretty.
Well, I'm not, so we don't have to worry about it.
Hey, Chuck and Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of the weekend.
That's good stuff.
Those guys come courtesy of the Boxer and Gerson guest line.